Thanks, fans. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to this Gaming Face Punch Gaming Roundup with Keith in seat 2 and Nige down there.
Well, you know, he was late.
Yeah,
so I'm looking down on him today. It serves him right. Turns up late. I mean, tell you about it. I thought I was late, but fuck me.
Anyway, you guys doing all right? So I'm just going to quickly.
No, he was late. I'm joking.
All right. Okay. So we got some news and bits to go through. Some bits to do with God of War that we were messaged on our YouTube video, which we're quite grateful for. Some new Nintendo Switch Pro information. Kind of throws a bit of cold water on the whole thing. Some Sony Ben thing. A new No Man's Sky update. PS5 sales. We're going to look at some of the E3 2021 stuff. And then we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn's fat-faced fuck up. Pardon my language. But before we start, now let's start. Sorry. Right. So, we reported on a God of War story, and there was a problem with the God of War story, and the problem with the God of War story goes like this. It was wrong. Quite simply, it was wrong. The God of War podcast sent a tweet out to a load of games journalists and DualShockers too, which is kind of on DualShockers Games Radar, all these other people. They are flattered that Samuel Art... flattered that they think Samuel Art's part of Sony Santa Monica, but he's not. So the story of them being inspired by Last of Us Part 2 is bunkum. And I'm quite happy to turn around and say that because God of War's, how can I put it nicely, it's a dad game. Yeah, best release date, probably Father's Day, because it's that fathery. It's a very fathery game. And Last of Us Part 2 is just misery porn. If you've got a choice, go buy Ghost of Tsushima. Nige.
Yeah, like we all do.
Yeah, it's an odd one in regards to it. They were just spinning yarns and ideas and bits, and the podcast was taken out of context and turned into a story, and we read the story thinking that they'd done their due diligence, and apparently no, they hadn't done due diligence. So we will do our due diligence and say it was wrong. Anything to add to that, Nige, before we move on to the next one?
No, well, all I know is that this Samuel's Matthews, I think his name is. He just wants. He was on the podcast, but it's an aspiration of his to work with Santa Monica, Sony Santa Monica. So yeah, you never know. Sometime in the future, this might happen. But yeah, at the moment, no.
Cool.
They were just chatting.
On that note, I think it's time we move on to our next story. And, it doesn't come up. Come up, you bastard. This is why I don't like Twitter. Right. So, lots of stories about the Nintendo Switch Pro flowing around. Forbes have put a lot of stuff out. I don't know how reliable they are. Come back to the God of War thing we were talking about a moment ago, and they've got their live stream on June 15th at 9 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. EST. I don't know what that is our time. It's probably, what's that, about 7 o'clock our time, I think, given the BST things. But this is when we'll find out if a Nintendo Pro exists. After reading through a few news stories, I'm now doubting it. It's not good. It's like kind of they've got their 3-hour direct. So their version of E3, because they don't turn up to E3 now, because no one turns up to fucking E3 anymore. So they'll be showing some gameplay and stuff. There'll be like 40 minutes of chatting and like 3 hours worth of like kind of gameplay and whatnot, which will be interesting. So yes, there was this story that came through in regards to the Nintendo Switch Pro, which threw some cold water on the whole thing. And what it was what was this? Who's this? This is Tech Radar. More signs pointing to a Nintendo Switch Pro. As Nintendo Switch Pro announced, tipped for June 3rd. It's the 6th of June. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Update. Well, it looks like won't be seeing a Nintendo Switch Pro this week. Well, not at least. No announcements made on June 3rd. There were supposed to be pre-orders and stuff, according to the article, which they're expected to come in. Nothing. They got a tweet. Oh, I love it. Twitter is such cancer. A tweet from some journalists and stuff. Nothing at all anywhere, which is now throwing cold water on the idea of a Nintendo Switch Pro coming out. If it does come out, they will probably, if they would be smart enough to do the pre-orders on the day of release. So the pre-orders would open up the moment that they do it. So it'll be the end. If they do it right, it'll be the end of their presentation. They'll get to the end and the time goes, oh, also, here's the Nintendo Switch Pro. But nothing. No cheeky screenshots, no leaks from Walmart's or Best Buys or Amazon's in like Italy or wherever they usually leak from. So yeah, says the tweet was from someone called Centro Leaks, saying that we're going to go live June 4th around midnight. Didn't happen. So it doesn't look like. I don't think it's going to happen. I want it to happen because I like interesting things, and it would be a good point to do it because it'd be a great time. So the cat amongst the pigeons, given the fact that one of our stories later on indicates that maybe, just maybe, people are ready for another Switch, and if they do it so it's backwards compatible too, would be a good thing.
Is it though the fact that there's a chip shortage as to why they haven't announced it? That seems to be what we're hearing about a lot of these rumored releases of devices that require chips and stuff. I mean, PS5 is meant to be ready, available by now. June was the date, and as of yet, there's no indication that the stock levels are building up. I know other retailers that have actually stopped manufacturing certain devices and switching chipsets altogether because of this chip shortage. I'm just wondering if there was an intention to release a Switch Pro, but the chip shortage has screwed that intention, and that we might still see it later on.
I don't know. There's a lot of things going on, especially the chip shortage at the moment. It's like the RAM back in the 90s. RAM was made in one location in the 90s, and then that got hit by a storm, wiped out the RAM manufacturing, and then all of a sudden everyone then started making RAM, and you were getting RAM advertised everywhere. So I imagine this is where the term diversifying actually pays off, because having something decentralized from a single location will probably help out. So I don't know, the semiconductors technology is based in Taiwan, because they make a ton of chips.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's between China. Memories made here, or a good deal. The storm that you referred to was here, and the memory issue and the hard drives and everything was initially here. But I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does have a successor to the Switch up their sleeves, but I think it's going to be later than they initially thought it was going to be. And there is that second Zelda game that's meant to be coming to the Switch, which we haven't seen, other than a trailer a couple of years ago, anything of since. And I think that was intended as a Switch title rather than a Switch Pro. So I don't know. I suspect that Nintendo will hear something from them by the end of the year, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't want to do a Sony and roll it out and then have loads of scalpers. I don't know. Maybe they're taking
Nintendo roll it out and not have enough units to manage
well, they did
demand.
that.
Nintendo have never done that. Never. Just.
I didn't get scalped for it though when I got it. I was jammy. I just timed it right, and it was available on the game website at the time. But yes, unfortunately, not so lucky with the PS5. Don't even say
it. yeah, we can't make any PS5 jokes because we know that you wouldn't get them. I love that. That was Bilfer. That was a perfect joke. That was. Yeah, so it is a weird one. I wanted to happen. I wanted something. I want some exciting news to come out of E3 because at the moment, console news is probably the most exciting thing you can get. Unless I can't see any new. It sounds really weird. I can't see any new games coming out from Sony or Xbox. Something that make us go, "Ooh, exciting!" Yeah, I can't see any of that stuff happening. So we're stuck with third parties and Activision and EA.
Microsoft is going to reveal some more Halo stuff, I would say.
Yeah, but that's not new. We knew about Halo Infinite. But
we haven't seen any updated stuff on it. So
we're talking about Nintendo now, mate. Let's not talk about Microsoft in this
No,
section.
I know, but he's saying about consoles and anything exciting coming for. I want to see the new Zelda game. That's what I want to see because have my money, Nintendo. I want that. That's what I'm kind of excited about. But hey, I'm in the minority, but I love Zelda. So Breath of the Wild is still one of my favorite games.
I don't think you're in the minority for
I am Zelda. Here.
I think a lot of people
you lot don't. Every time I say it's one of my favorite games, you go.
Yeah, because you haven't played Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past, where we've both played Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past.
It's not so much.
I just played it.
Yeah, I agree, but it's the experience you have with the Switch. The Switch is what made it such a great game. It's not just the game itself. It's the hardware that you're playing it on, the ability that you can go and sit and play it on the bog, and then the next minute you're playing it on your great big widescreen TV. That's what I like to
point out that tonight it's the Switch gained in popularity, and then we got C19. Not saying the two connected, but if you're playing on the toilet, might be a transmission vector. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for this. I'm hoping that we're going to get Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Just because I think it keeps Sony and Microsoft on the game, and they'll have to maybe reduce the price of Returnal to start with Sony, because it kind of like games will become 60 quid. This one's fucking 70. Pull the other one. Yeah, I know people are thirsty for new games, but that's taking the piss. Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed that we'll have something there.
It's 7.
Sorry,
I will say this before. It's 70 quid because they haven't sold enough PS5s yet. Nobody's got them. Therefore, they have to make the same.
They've sold quite a lot of PS5s, Keith. They've sold quite a lot of PS5s. Despite all the shortages and stuff, they've sold quite a lot of PS5s. Sony Bend. I like Sony Bend's Days Gone. It's fantastic, but it looks like they're moving on to a new project, which sucks. I wanted to see the sequel to it. I'm going to ruin it. There's a bit at the end where you've been working with a guy from the government. His name's O'Brien, and he reveals that the government are all infected with the virus, but they've got control, unlike the freakers wandering the sides. And I wanted to find out what that would be like, because you couldn't fight what they called the Nero group, which was the National Emergency Response Organization, which is supposed to be a version of FEMA. And then he reveals that the fact that he's been infected, and the infectant is now changing them, and they're aware of Deacon and that. Plus, Deacon's been juicing himself up with his Nero injectors, which give him, increased health, stamina, and all that nonsense. So, was there going to be a repercussion for that? Was Deacon going to turn into a freaker, a more conscious freaker, shall we say? But that stuff's gone. So, the team's building a new IP, open world, very passionate about it. The new intellectual property in development by Days Gone's developer Sony Bend will build on a deep open world system similar to what we had before. that the team's created for the most popular post-apocalyptic title. So, as we already know, the Japanese giant has decided not to greenlight the sequel to Deacon St. John's story. Sad news. But Sony PlayStation boss Herman Holtz says that development is very passionate on its new project. But I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. I really am. But
sometimes it's really good to have a new IP rather
It is,
than just doing number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Number
the thing is, in the old days, yeah, and this is the thing I think is sucked in recent generations, is you used to get it so at the beginning of the thing they would develop a game engine, they build their game on it, and then they do 3 sequels within the generation. Yeah, and all they do is they keep the same game engine, tweak it to make it better, and do things. See Uncharted on PS3, 3 versions of that we got. How many Uncharted versions? We got 2. 2 on that. 2 on that, and 1 miserable Last of Us Part 2. A company that has 2 studios, 1 to do Uncharted, 1 to do Last of Us, produced 2 full games and 1 tiny game. The output's not good enough. It's really annoying. Keith Scartman icon. It's making me laugh. But it's one of those things. It sucks. I want them to put out more games. Basically, I know they're like kind of it didn't hit expectations. Blah blah blah. All this nonsense. But the long and the short of it is they could have outputted more games. They could have given the bloody Decima engine. But yeah, I'm sad because I don't get to play my my sequel to Days Gone. Right. No Man's Sky. Bloody hell, No Man's Sky. Yeah? Seriously, every time I turn back, I thought, we got the Normandy update a while back, which I didn't finish off. I only got through the first phase, 1 of 5, and I didn't get the bloody Normandy on it. Which is a pain in the ass because dude, thing's great. So it's that, but they brought out this what they call the Prism update, and the Prism update features some visual overhauls. So they got nice kind of screen space reflection, blah blah blah, ambient occlusion, all that things. So they got lighting effects in caves. They've got fur for alien creatures. So what I always complained about, the fauna not being diverse enough and detailed enough, that's kind of increased. Night sky is now speckled with 1,000 stars, so you get nice kind of night view, so you can see the universe that you're going through. So you could point at a star and go, "I'm going there." Cool shit like that. Volumetric lightings, the warp effect they've changed. I've seen it on a few clips. Looks great. There's now what looks like a automated control on space stations, like a big robotic eye, similar to what you've got in the the anomaly. When you get the anomaly, you get the jobs from the weird floating eye thing. That's there. That looks great. Plus, you can now tame and ride flying creatures. Awesome. Absolutely.
Is this like mainly though on the PS5, or does it work still on the PS4?
I think it works on everything, mate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's on both. I think they would be implementing these updates on both the PS5 and the PS4.
Yeah, it doesn't say that it's not. It's got some bits there for it's. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check. Because I've got my PS5 version, I've got my Xbox S version, I've got my PS4 version. I can go and pop on and check to see if they've got those changes. I imagine they probably are, but they scaled down a bit, if you know what I mean. So they probably scaled down. So the lighting, I don't know how they would do that, considering it's based on that super algorithm that they use to build the universe. But it keeps getting on. There's still hints that there is other things going on. Maybe I'm hoping for new bad guys. The Sentinels now, apparently, with they scan you, and it's a bit more ominous. So you say when they use the little kind of red search beam to try and find you and whatnot. It's really good. And I'm quite happy. This game keeps just going and going and going. There'll be another update up September, I imagine, and that's probably when we'll get this secret weapon thing that they hinted at a couple of months ago. It's gonna be great.
We covered that, didn't we?
Yeah, we covered that last week. It's just every time it's like kind of about to delete it off my hard drive. It's like, oh, here's an update. Oh, God's sake, patch it, play it for a bit, and they keep
Well,
it.
it's a far cry from what we started with. It's a much. I give it to them. They've done wonders with it, really.
Well,
considering.
Yeah, I mean, I can actually play with my mates, which I couldn't do when it first came out, and they said I could do. Which is great, you know. Gav, me, you.
Let it go.
We all jumped on with Baxter. He came on. We all played together.
That was awesome.
That was great fun.
Yeah.
We need to do that game. I'll have to fly back to whatever place you guys are
I've got a
hiding in.
Big screw off TV now to play it on. I just need to get some kind of wireless talking system.
What you need to do is upgrade to a PS4 Pro.
What you need to do is fuck off.
I need some wireless talking system.
A wireless talking system,
like the wireless that I keep in the corner of my room.
I mean, that's one thing, you know. If it's batteries in the Xbox controller, that's one of my pet peeves. And on the PlayStation, just support Bluetooth. Fuck's sake!
You can just plug regular headphones into it, don't you?
Yes, but I don't have regular headphones. I have Bluetooth headphones because the world's moved on from regular fucking headphones. And yes, you can plug regular headphones in, but they will only play sound and not the microphone. So I've got the cable for my.
It will do both, Keith.
No.
You've got the wrong setup, my son. You've got the wrong setup. Me and Nige have been using it for ages, and it does exactly the same on the PS5 too.
Have you got a dedicated gaming, or have you got a pair of
both? I've tried both.
Headphones that come with your phone.
Tried both.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, so you could use anything that's got the single cable that has both the mic and headphone input. Then that'll work.
Keith, man, wireless.
On a PS4 and 5.
It's moved on, but I'm talking 1950s terms.
Wireless headphones. They're awesome. And they've got built-in microphones. Look.
You look like you're wearing 2 hearing aids.
I know.
He's trying to look a bit like Aloy.
He does. Okay, let's move on to onto our next story, which is about PlayStation. All right. PS5 is now the best-selling console of 2021 in the UK, beating the Nintendo Switch. See, this is what I set these stories up so I can contradict.
I know you've set these stories up.
So I can contradict you further down the line. My microphone is slowly slipping down, so I'm just going to angle that up. It's all right. I've got a new arm, and it needs a little tightening. Where was I? Yeah, Nintendo Switch has been beaten soundly, Keith, by the PS5. It's perpetually low on stock, but the PS5 has still managed to outsell both the Xbox X and the Switch this year. So we can't get any, but it's selling like fucking hotcakes. At the moment,
because when they do come, people buy them because people want it. Everyone wants one. I'm not disputing that fact.
You just can't get one, Keith.
At the moment, the console war is between the Xbox X series and the PS5. Is only really a war of words, with both consoles perpetually out of stock. It's almost impossible to say which one is really winning the hearts and minds. But there's new information on which has sold the most so far. We know it's the PS5 because simply you go into CEX and you look how much they tried to scalp a PS5 for versus an Xbox X series, and you can tell which one people want because of the pricing on it. Well, there's no suggestion that the Switch sales are necessarily declining. Nintendo's widely rumored to be unveiling a new, more powerful version of the console at E3. See how these all tie into each other?
You see, they've immediately sort of shut themselves in the foot there with at E3 because Nintendo don't go to E3.
Well, they mean E3 week, don't they? the week
Well,
of
no,
E3 where everyone just all of a sudden just goes, oh,
they're just another one of these journalists who just type fucking everything and don't check it before fucking publishing.
But
He's just another one of them.
Okay, all right. Well, I wasn't going to say that because it does technically anything. I count the shows around E3, the Bethesda show, the Nintendo Treehouse, all that stuff as part of E3. Because they wouldn't be putting a show out otherwise. Otherwise, it would be like what does the Sony do now? They do their.
Do you think they got the guys the guys who run E3 in the background going, right, Bethesda are about to start their stream. What we'll do, we'll link to theirs and show it on our stream as if it's part of ours. We'll just share it, screen share it. It's fine. It's fine.
They might do that tricky thing.
They won't care.
So it's mad in comparison, but yeah, the PS5 is the biggest selling console so far in the UK of 2021, and I can believe that because we can't find anywhere.
One thing would be good if Sony and Microsoft both said, right, these are the amount we've sold, and these are the amount that have been activated by end users, because then you'll know the bit in the middle are scalpers.
Well, no, because the scalpers would have sold them on. There would be no point holding on to them.
Yeah,
so
but
they would have sold them on. So they still get activated either way.
There's a lot of people who just simply won't. They'll wait for it to become available in retail stores rather than buying from scalpers. So there may well be quite a lot of people.
Well, the stores have opened up now, and the scalping seems to not be as much of a storyline as it was, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and that's because people can pop into these stores and they're prioritizing it, and Sony want to sell directly to customers too. So hopefully they'll implement the one per address sort of thing, and go from there.
We looked last week on the Microsoft website, and Microsoft are selling direct, and they've got in stock the Series S, but the Series X is out of stock on their website. So the more popular one being the X, obviously it's more powerful, so people sort of plump for that, like myself. But I went for it because of the disk drive. You went for yours because you wanted an all digital.
Yeah,
different strokes, different folks.
Yeah. I completely agree. I'm loving my S. I'll be honest with you. It's obviously I've got a HD TV on the wall, so I've got a 4K TV on the wall, so there's no point getting a 4K thing. I've got a lot of stuff kind of stashed away, and the Games Pass helps, and plus the Klarna agreement thing where you only pay £20 a month.
Yeah,
for both the pass and the console. It's fantastic.
It's amazing, isn't it? I know this is the Sony section, but I pay £28 a month, only £8 more, and I've got the X, and I've got the same. I've got the X, the Game Pass Ultimate, which is fantastic. I just wish Sony had something similar. I know they've got the PlayStation now, but I wish it was maybe a bolt on to PS Plus, a little bit more per month. And here's a back catalogue of all our stuff. That'd be quality.
Okay, anyway, we've been talking a lot about E3. Let's actually go in a bit of depth with E3. Right, so, thanks to the worldwide pandemic caused by Keith playing his Switch on the toilet, E3 2020 ultimately cancelled, resulting in most publishers hosting their own virtual events. One of the ones I really liked was the Devolver Digital one. It was great, but we've got some bits here. So on the 12th of June, we've got Ubisoft. If I've got this right. But trying to remember all this stuff is a pain in the ass. Ubisoft, they should be showing off some bits for Far Cry 6. Rumors are that they want to show it working on all consoles and all generations, so everyone can see what they're getting and everyone can have their expectations managed, so they don't make the same mistake that Cyberpunk 2077 made. Good lesson to learn. There's there may be some DLC for Watch Dogs, Legions, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is all right. Hopefully we want to see Beyond Good and Evil, which was announced like 4 years ago. So hopefully we might be able to see something. And given what they showed us, it looked like it would run better on the current software, especially with the faster hard drives and stuff, and the load times and whatnot. And then we've got publishers. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake was supposed to have a release in January, been delayed till March and then disappeared. Hopefully we'll get an update on that. And then there's maybe some Rainbow Six Parasite. I have no idea what that is. Apparently it's supposed to release before the end of September. Some gameplay footage was leaked. And then they're eager to see some sequel strategy games to Mario and Rabbids, which is, I'm going to put it politely, Mario XCOM, because that's what it looks like and that's how it plays. And if we're really lucky, we'll see some Star Wars stuff from the Ubisoft thing. So we've got the Star Wars open game world that we were talking about. Then we've got Sunday is Microsoft's showcase. Get some Halo Infinite. Now I know that when Halo Infinite came out and they showed some gameplay footage, I described it as completely honest. Everyone described it as crap. But I reckon that's what they had. I don't think they lied. I don't think they tried to tart it up. I think that's what it was at that time. So they've probably spent whole of lockdown trying to make that look gorgeous. Killzone 2 did it eventually because they had that trailer that they showed was fake. Then they released the game and then they managed to recreate most of that and actually make it look better. So yeah, get some Halo Infinite, maybe some Starfield stuff. Apparently, because they got hold of Bethesda, we'll get some Starfield stuff. Maybe some Bethesda games being put out there, like, you know, maybe a Fallout or something along those lines. That would be fucking awesome. Another Forza Horizon game. It's practically copy and paste for Forza Horizon. You just need to change the location, right? I'll be honest, those cars shouldn't change that much. If you've done a really good job on those cars, you should have made like really super high level, detailed version and then scaled them down to fit on the console.
They look amazing in Horizon 4, to be honest. I've been playing it a fair bit.
They did. Oh. I think what got me is when it was on 360 and they compared it to the PS3 and the cars look shit on the 360, but now they're like really top notch. Superb. So before they were driving around Britain causing all manner of havoc. It looks like it'll be set in Mexico. I'm just thinking about being chased by the fucking cartel. I've got a friend who used to work in Mexico and he could tell me some fucking horror stories of what was going on in there.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll get some Gears of War 6 stuff, hopefully. And then the suggestion of a new franchise from the Coalition, which will also be good. Square Enix, Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, for PS5, as a PS5 exclusive. We might see some of that. Rumors of a second PS5 exclusive Final Fantasy game. Interesting. Then there's news that the Square Enix are working on Guardians of the Galaxy game. Given the fact that the Marvel's game, I'm not holding out hope for that. I think that's going to wind up being a bit poop. Final Fantasy 7 remake PS5 re-release, which we talked about ages ago, where if you bought it, a hard copy of it, I think you get a free upgrade. Got the Nintendo conference. So we're looking at kind of what we got here. Looks like we might get Breath of the Wild sequel. Keith, excited? He's excited.
Yeah, I genuinely enjoyed Breath of the Wild, and it was one of those games I enjoyed. I get it. There's other games out there that are probably better. I just, for whatever reason, the whole setup I just liked.
Yeah. So you got Breath of the Wild sequel, Metroid Prime 4. I love Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime was awesome. Yeah, I think that one of the best games on the GameCube and on the Wii. And when they did the weird thing where they gave it over to, I can't remember what the name of the company was, and they kind of made it more story based rather than feeling isolated and alone on a planet. Kind of took the. I can understand they wanted to tell a story, to try something new. By all means, try something new, but I don't think it worked. But if they do Metroid Prime 4, and we've got kind of, you know, something exciting, cool shit like that, that would be fantastic. Bayonetta 3, maybe, and maybe some new games, maybe a new Donkey Kong game. Splatoon 3, DLC for
Splatoon 3.
Splatoon 3,
Ooh. Okay, cool.
And and then some DLC for Smash Brothers, which people like, and then fingers crossed for the Nintendo Switch Pro again. But I think by the comments that I've seen, I've got it's poor cold water on it for me, which I'm really fucked off about actually, because
I would temper your disappointment a little bit, because I do think it's down to this chip shortage. I think it's coming. I think it's true.
I think it's coming. No, I genuinely think it's coming. If they call it the Switch U, it's fucked. All right. Just the Wii U was a good console, but they should have just called it the U. The Nintendo U would have worked better.
Yes,
Nintendo
needs you.
That would have worked better than the Wii U, because everyone thought it was a bolt-on for the Wii U, and it was awkward stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Since E3 is also ditched, EA is also ditched to E3. EA Play will do their own presentation. Hopefully, it'll be a good one, preferably a pre-recorded one. New Battlefield game, maybe Battlefield 6, hopefully set in the modern era. Kind of some cool bits. Maybe they have like the constructible scenery. Maybe that'll happen. There's rumors of the another Mass Effect game we had ages ago, if I remember correctly. Maybe we'll see something of that. Or Dragon Age. I think Dragon Age is the next one up before Mass Effect. Yep, I think it is. And then the Mass Effect one, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition editions come out. I might get that when it comes down. They may reveal Sims 5. I haven't played Sims since Sims 2, but Sims 2 was fantastic. And then they tried to monetize every fucking aspect of it. And
Sims 3 had so many different add-ons and bolt-ons and things like that.
The add-ons were fine, but I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy a little bit. Sims 4 is very much the same again, really.
And then we've got,
but it's good enough.
And then we've got our standard fare with FIFA 22, Madden 22, PGA Tour 22, something else 22, basketball 22, playing football in the street 22.
All the sports 22.
All the sports kind, Need for Speed 22. All of those things there. Then we've got Warner Brothers. Hogwarts Legacy, probably there. Shadow of Mordor 3, maybe. Mortal Kombat 12. Gotham Knights, another one that we looked in. Left 4 Dead. It has Left 4 Dead successor due in October. Back for Blood. Interesting. Left 4 Dead was quite an interesting multiplayer game. Did you play that with me and Carl? Sorry. It's a 4-player team with the AI director that would put zombies and shit into the game to try and make it a bit more exciting as you were playing.
Oh, right. No, I thought, Left 4 Dead, isn't that a Valve game, Left 4 Dead?
It may be a Valve game, but it might be EA license. So EA may have taken that game. Well, if you're not going to make a third one, we'll pass it to someone who will.
Yeah, I just thought maybe the team left and they've started making this and instead. But yeah, interesting to see if something does come out on that. Yeah.
Then we've got the Suicide Squad game that we saw a trailer for ages ago. Maybe we'll get to see some gameplay of that. That might be interesting, especially with the Suicide Squad film coming out. It would be perfect timing to bring the two out roughly at the same time. And then some DLC for Mortal Kombat. Then we've got Sony, and we've got fat-faced Aloy. As I said, maybe life's been good for her because we've got Horizon Forbidden West. Maybe we'll see some God of War Ragnarok to tie it back to the thingy. Just a quick one, Babster. The game, we haven't seen any of the game, so we can't make any judgments. 4-player kind of brawl. It's set in a Arkham-style place, might be good. And then The Last of Us remake, which we don't want, we didn't ask for, and will not sell as well as they think it will because people have been put off because of the second one.
I've already got The Last of Us remaster.
Yes, I am. I've got it on PS4.
I don't need a Last of Us remake, and it's quite freely available to buy, and it's quite cheap in the stores. So what's the point?
Yeah. So, they got all of those bits there coming up. We didn't have an E3 last year. Things were a bit crap. We'll wait and see what these things are like. Hopefully we'll get some surprises. I want some surprises because at the moment we've got some games coming out which are fine, but there's not enough of them. And I think it was a problem from last generation where we lost a ton of publishers at the beginning of the generation. Now, hopefully people will be picking it up. But the indies did did explode in the last generation. So the company made things like Outlast, the horror game. They kind of pushed forward. No Man's Sky, indie title. This started off really shit and is going from strength to strength, and I'm having trouble keeping up, which is fantastic. But that's E3. What we're expecting. So next week we'll probably be talking all about E3. And one of the items in E3 was what was it? It was Horizon Forbidden West. So let's just move over to that. All right, there you go, Keith. Switch, make you happy. All right, so I'm not a big reader of pink news because it's obviously full of vegans.
Sure, no.
Sorry?
You've got to love the pink news.
I picked pink news because pink news, massive, hugely clickbaity title. Snowflake gamers dragged after whining about Aloy's masculine appearance in Horizon Forbidden West. I didn't think she looked masculine. I thought she looked fat. Look. Storyline wise, there may be a reason for her having this fat face, and it may be the fact that she was the hero of the previous game, and she could have spent the last 2 years sitting on her ass being fed by people for her efforts. That's what might have happened. Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to assume inside a storyline. There's been rumors that the art directors have looked at the game, they've turned around and gone, oh, the model looks like she'd cry at a broken nail. I don't think we want that. We want someone looking a bit more manly. And if that's the case, put a fucking man in the game. Simple. Put a man in the game. Problem solved. Okay? You pick the model. The model, yeah. All right, so this is full of tweets, yeah. I like this. There's a picture of Aloy from the game, and then someone's done a more feminine version of Aloy.
It looks like Cheryl Cole on the right.
Does it look like Cheryl?
Yeah,
I didn't.
A little bit.
But they've done like they've gone through this. It was the SpongeBob, this Zelda version where they've just slapped the face on.
Well, I don't like the mock-up version because she's wearing full makeup, and I'm sure she doesn't need that. Fucking
what's the issue here that people have criticised her?
People have criticised her, and the art director has turned around and said that they wanted to make her more masculine. Now, given our issues, this is what the actress that's the model for Aloy looks like. Yeah.
Why didn't they just base it on her?
Pardon?
Yeah. Why didn't they just base it on her?
It is based on her.
But that model doesn't. The model doesn't.
They ugged her because politics dictates that you're not allowed to the male gaze. Fucking nonsense shite.
So hang on, they can't make her beautiful and hardcore as well. She has to be masculine looking. What? Because men are going to perv over her. Is that what? What?
That's it. That's why she's got her boobs.
Fudge off.
Nothing like that.
Look, here's the thing, right? Women can be feminine and strong at the same time. You sexist wankers.
Yeah. Female form's a lovely form. Yeah, if you want to look at female form in its, how can I put it politely, in its overly realized, idealized form, go look at like the Venus de Milo. Yeah, that person who sculpted that statue clearly knew what they were doing, and this is what the woman looks like. That's what I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see this woman here. On it.
I mean, why are the snowflakes not attack? Are they attacking the guy for saying I wanted to make her more masculine, or are they not bothered that? Because to me, that's actually more sexist than saying that. Yeah, Tank Girl, Babster, Tank Girl. Yeah, exactly. I mean, awesome comic character. What the fuck is going wrong with the world? I'm sorry, but what is wrong with these people?
It fits, ironically, this kind of comes back to that kind of beginning story that we had with God of War. I'm hoping it's bullshit. I'm hoping this is outrage marketing. I'm hoping it's not nonsense, because you need to just make her look like the actress. You paid her for her fucking image. Use the image. Okay? That's that simple. You paid her for the image. Use the
Why-
image. She's a good looking girl. She's got a bit of
Why
a
can't-
square jaw, but
Why
still
can't she be?
looks fine.
Why can't she be tough? Why do they have to be masculine looking to be tough?
Because
Right.
despite what they say, they're sexist.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's a lot of argument from people I've seen saying, "Oh well, she can't be like climbing, doing all this sort of stuff and not be masculine." Actually, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Women I see at my OCR races that I do, who are as feminine as you can ever imagine, and they can do the obstacles no problem, no
Do you know
problem
what?
whatsoever.
I had this conversation with my wife last night, and that was the argument she made. So yes.
No clue what. I've not seen it.
All right. Okay. Let's. We had some comments and stuff, and I've kind of gone through this because we do 2 shows now. My brain tries to manage both of them and remember all the bloody stories and without making mistakes. So let's do some comments before we wrap it up and go away. So hello, Bill Farr, with your weird thingy. I think I preferred the Hulk Yoda. Yeah. So we got So we got Babster on. Yeah. I just like to point out that Babster is fucking awesome. Yeah. Babster is great. Babster gave us a shout out in his kind of retro video thing. Didn't ask for anything. He just gave us a shout out. Fabulous YouTuber. Go check out his. Oh crikey, which one? There's Babster Cade. There's Commander Babster, and there's another one. There's 3 of them. I can't remember what they are. But he's awesome. Metroid Prime. Yeah, Metroid Prime was an awesome game. It still is an awesome game. I'm actually tempted to go and play it on my emulator. I know he will do what Gavin does when I talk about Richmond sausages. Metroid 3. The Wii version was great too. I enjoyed that. That was probably the only one that I felt that worked like it was when it was advertised. Thanks for moving over to YouTube to watch us. Yep, it's a Valve game, but I'm sure it's an EA property, if that makes any sense. So Valve developed it, but EA own it. Suicide Squad. Wait until you see the game. It might be good. As I said, if it's like Arkham but 4-player with beat 'em up mechanics, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And he goes, "Oh, Rockstar are making." Yes, because Rockstar are making it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just post lockdown, Aloy. Sorry, it's just post lockdown, Eloy. Cut us some slack. We've all gained a few pounds.
I didn't see that comment. Nice one, Bilfer.
Bilfer does have some.
I haven't got a problem. I haven't got a problem with the way she looks. I've got a problem with the reasoning behind it. That's what I have a problem with. Don't have a problem with the way she looks. I mean, how the hell can I talk? But it's the reasoning behind it. It's the mentality behind it.
Yeah.
If they show a cut sequence when you start a cut sequence of her being lauded by everyone, put in the chieftain's hut, just munching away every day for a year, you go, I understand now.
That would make perfect sense. That would be because at the same time you got to get back to fitness, so you could have like a Rocky style montage of her like lifting logs and stuff in the mountains in the snow.
Yeah,
that would work. I would accept that.
Small mechanized dinosaurs.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn Shrek's wife is that. Tomb Raider. Yeah, but hang on, Tomb Raider was always big hoo-has. Tomb Raider was third game. I swear she was just going to topple over because she had such big hoo-has.
Yeah, but that was completely the opposite. I mean,
we got the new Tomb Raider 2 where she's kind of slimmed down a bit. I have to say the third Tomb Raider game was such a fucking letdown. Now I think about it. Second one was fine. The third one was a fucking letdown. Yeah. Camera adds £10 to a person. Yeah, but if the same camera makes them look slim and the same camera then makes them look fat, then yeah. Have you seen the Vikings? Look at the women in that. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. You are awesome. You are completely awesome. I've missed your streams. I keep getting alerts for your streams, but it's usually in the middle of doing things, so I haven't been able to pop in. And then we've got kind of the guns on the legs. She did have nice legs. But
yeah, that's what we focused on.
to be honest with you, but I'd rather she has to have a nice ass, because the way third-person games are set up, spend all the time looking at the back. Saying that, my wife thinks that Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, has the best ass in all of video games. She's like, oh. She just heard me and she yelled from the bathroom. She said, "It is true."
She speaks from authority on the issue.
Oh yeah. But I think because Hideo Kojima likes the human form in both male and female, so when you play what was it, Metal Gear Phantom Pain, you work with Quiet, and Quiet's just constantly got boobs out to the point that I made it a goal to get her into uniform. Right, I'm running an army. Everyone has to wear a uniform. You can't be running around in a fucking bikini, love. All right, you've got to wear a uniform like everybody else. And this is the sad thing. In my old age, yeah, I was playing the second Tomb Raider game, yeah, and my first goal was to get her into warmer clothes because it's set in the mountains and it's really icy and cold. And my goal was like, she looks cold. My concern is to throw a blanket over her to keep her warm. When I was a kid, it was like, no, get into the bikini quick. We'll get out of the water. I want to see the water effects. But now it's like kind of, she looks cold. She better wrap up warm before she gets her death. But that's what age brings with you. All right. So on that note, on that rather bizarre note, I think it's time we say goodbye.
See you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Actually, we'll see you in the next one, which is on the Monkey Nut Punch podcast channel. Come catch us at 3:30, which is in 38 minutes time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.